So, what is night seeing? In my mind, it's a talk, which I'll be giving during the day on the 12th. It's a walk, which we are talking about, and a light map, which Light Projects will design based on the Angel Islington route that we work out with IALD that will give us the best flavor of the light in London. When I give the talk, I talk a little bit about the history of lighting. I talk about lighting theory as I know it, public, private, and found, and the idea of lighting as progress. We've done a number of these so far, but this London walk will be, I don't know, maybe the 5th or 6th. We're really excited. I've been doing, really invented this last year and have found that it's just thrilling for people and fascinating to find light. We just did a Times Square one. We did one in Washington, D.C. for the American Society for Landscape Architects. Did one at St. Patrick's Cathedral and the charrette that you saw, the workshop earlier, and one in Bryant Park. Now let's look at some of those images. In Times Square, just the other day, I brought a university group of students. Dietrich Neumann, who wrote Architecture of the Night, had some students come down from Boston to New York City, and the overly bright area, the fantastical display of graphics in Times Square, it's overwhelming and instructive. This is one of the only areas that I know of where a minimum of bright light is mandated through signs and flashing. And you'll see on the lower left that the advertisers get a bonus when their lighting is reflected in the glass-clad buildings and the puddles and streets below. So we have double light in many places. Walking through Washington, D.C., I found a city that really could use some help. And so it's interesting to also, as a lighting designer, bring a critical view and critical language about light and wondering why the lighting is a little bit behind the times, not quite as innovative in the areas that we were walking. Although on the lower left, bracketed lights, very, very simple, very cheap, to light up some landmark buildings. I thought it was smart and effective, although glary and not sophisticated. Here in Bryant Park, a gorgeous park in Midtown Manhattan, right by the library, there is a moonlight effect off a local building that drenches the park in moonlight, creating gorgeous silhouetted trees with an edge light, almost a ghostly, icy light. This was last winter, and there were, 60 people who signed up over the internet and showed up in below zero weather, freezing, and wandering around to find the shadows and light of the park. Here we go on the old St. Patrick's Cathedral, Little Italy light walk, which was done in combination with the PLDA light mapping event here in the city. And you'll see me on the lower left pointing out some shadows amongst the leaves. I think the ground plane is very, very interesting. We're not just concentrating on the vertical plane, but the ground plane, which is, of course, a spatial arrangement of light source, object, and shadow. Here is one of our handy custom maps. This was for the Washington, D.C. Light Walk. Generally, we have 30 to 40 people, but as I mentioned, I've walked with 60 and just luckily had some theater training, and I can project my voice. It's a 10-minute walk that we're taking in. It takes us about an hour to complete. We'll bring you a custom map. And I hear for the ARC Show, we've also got a wonderful reception, both beforehand, we've got drinks, and afterwards, we've got a party. So I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you personally. Let's look a bit at the specifics of Angel Islington, the place we're going to walk together. I've gotten some images from Emma Cogswell from IALD, And actually, I know the angel pretty well because I lived in London in the 70s and enjoyed the angel very much. In closing, I would like to read you this quote, which really informs my ideas about city light. And on the right, you'll see pictures from the angel. Then we sallied forth into the streets, arm in arm, continuing the topics of the day, or roaming far and wide until a late hour, seeking amid the wild lights and shadows of the populous city that infinity of mental excitement which quiet observation can afford. This is one of my favorite quotes from the special effects master himself, Edgar Allan Poe, and to me really speaks of my reason for being, my reason for lighting in cities. And I really, really look forward to meeting each and every one of you at the NightSeeing LightWalk at the ARC Show. Thank you for joining me.